With captains Jerry and White, Cola Bad Bear, rebound. Madison Jackson, assists. And your shooter from downtown, Leah Beatty. J&V Restaurant Supply, savor the difference.
Two and a full, back at it. Now we're into October, so we're into the heart of the football season. Very excited. Colter Nuanez, Skyline Sports, MT.com, joined by Alex Eschelman of SWX Montana Television and Mariluz Cook of the Big Sky Conference. I'm wearing my gear. This is like cross promotion all over the place. Sportsbet Montana, one of our big sponsors of ESPN Radio. We obviously can't have any crossover with that on the college side of things. I keep away from the college betting, but I'm going to my spin class here in a minute. So thanks for motivating me, ladies. You guys are always into your fitness. I'm trying to keep up with you two. Hopefully you guys are doing well on that front. A couple fun questions, though. The way this works, if you're just now tuning in, one of us, me this week, is the fool. The other two, analyzing the topics at hand. Nothing complicated, just a whole lot of fun. So we'll get started with something just general. We're about 2 weeks into the conference season, about halfway through the football season in general. So I just want to know, what do you ladies think are some of the best storylines right now in the Big Sky Conference in football? We'll start with you, Mariluz. What are you watching? What are you liking? What have been some storylines that have jumped to the top of your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say Sacramento State football. I mean, we've talked about Troy Taylor before. I know Alex and I have, because you've talked about how his high school team, I guess, was beaten up on your team. And so I have been so impressed with their team and the leadership that he has, and the two quarterback system there with Asher O'Hara and Jake Dunaway, and how it works so well. I've talked to those players just about how love is really the reason that they've been so successful. That really is the theme for their program. And I don't really know how else you would get a two quarterback system to work unless the two quarterbacks genuinely love each other. When I've talked to Coach Taylor, he said, there's nothing you wouldn't do for someone that you love. And really, that's the way that they play. So the start that they have to this season, I think, is just incredible. Their win over Cal Poly, just absolute dominance there on the road. And so I have to say Sacramento State, I am really, really impressed with them this season. It's just fun to watch them play. And again, that two quarterback system is just, it's cool. It's cool the way that it works. So that's what I'm saying.
Alex, what do you think?
Well, I'm happy Mariluz brought up, first of all, Sacramento State, because hometown shout out, of course. And Troy Taylor, yes, he did beat up on my high school team when he was coaching for Folsom. That's aside from the fact. I'm happy that Mariluz brought up the two quarterback system. And obviously, I cover Montana State, so it's the one school that I'm closest to. And that two quarterback system, I think, is working really, really well here in Bozeman. I mean, we saw it with Sean Chambers over the weekend against Davis. I swear, I'm wearing my U of A hat. When I was watching Sean rush and pass for over 200 yards, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's looking like Khalil Tate when he was in his prime at Arizona. So I think that, the Bobcats' ability to adjust to the fact that Tommy is recovering from a head injury right now, and the belief that they have within their team, despite that they don't have 4 NFL active roster guys like they did last season on this year's team. Maybe they do. I don't know. That'd be awesome. But the belief that they have within this team right now, I think, is contagious, and I'm excited to see where they go from here.
Both really good answers. And I'm glad Mariluz brought up Sac State, because we are on a crusade, because I know that the way that media works in the Big Sky Conference, there's some places where the Big Sky's teams and the athletic departments are the biggest shows in town. I mean, we see it in Montana, we see it in Idaho. Weaver State has a great following there in the Salt Lake area. And sometimes in California, some of the FCS schools get a little bit overshadowed. So we are on a crusade to make people make sure that they know that Sac State is rolling under Troy Taylor. I mean, it's no joke. 15-1 in Big Sky play over the last 2 years. I guess 16-1 after last week. I mean, Cameron Scatabo is one of my favorite guys in the league to watch. He'll join us on the Big Sky Breakdown podcast tomorrow. I guess Friday we'll drop that episode. But very excited for that. The two quarterback system's been great. I think Troy Taylor, the way he thinks outside the box, he's so different than all the rest of the coaches in the league. And I think that's very appealing. So what makes him such an interesting coach in this league? What Montana State's doing, I think, is a testament to those two young men being able to work with each other and also just the culture Brett Vigen's built. I know Vigen, there's a lot of apprehension when he came in, because Jeff Choate was such a fiery character. But I mean, again, the wins and losses don't lie. Brent Vigen's 16-4 at Montana State. I mean, they don't lose to FCS teams basically unless it's in the playoffs since Vigen took over. So very impressive so far for Coach Vigen there at Montana State. I think the other great storyline right now in the league is just how dominant the conference is on a national level. I think we thought it could be here, but you got 4 teams in the top 7 in the country. Montana's number 3. Montana State's number 4, Sac State's number 5, Weber State's number 7. And you got games with those schools involving each other coming up too. So I think that's going to be definitely fun to watch. A lot of great storylines going on in the Big Sky Conference. The last one you got to mention though too, I think, because I think it's important for the league, is Idaho. Idaho coming back to the Big Sky. I know there was a lot of their fans that were, oh, why are we moving back? We don't want to go back. It's such a better fit for Idaho. They took their lumps early. I think they had a whole bunch of guys on the team that maybe were sort of ambivalent about the transition. Now they're a Big Sky program with a guy with Big Sky ties and a guy with FCS ties, and Jason Eck leading the way. And I think that Idaho being good, being competitive, is great for the league because it creates these natural rivalries with Eastern Washington, Montana State. And I mean, there's a lot of old school fans around this area in Montana, as I sit here in Missoula, that love the Vandals being back in the league. So I think that's a really good one. 2 and a full here on the Skyline Sports MT.com YouTube channel, as well as the Big Sky Breakdown podcast. Okay, another one that's a fun one. Who do you think has the best run out in the Big Sky Conference? There's several really good ones. We'll start with you, Alex. What do you think for Big Sky Conference runouts?
Well, we were just talking about this prior to actually starting the show, and I can't say I haven't been to every Big Sky school yet to see every entrance. So I can't fully put what I think is the best. Again, I have to go with Montana State. I think that they not only have one of the best runouts in the Big Sky, in the FCS, I think in the entire country. Seeing the rodeo team lead the football team out is just something so unique and so special. But if I had to pick another one, I do think that the Grizz, the energy that they have at Wa Grizz for the team to run out to is electric. And so I think that the Montana schools take the cake here.
So like Alex, I have not actually been to every single Big Sky campus. And so I have to say, being in Salt Lake City, I have been to Weber State a few times. And one of the things that was really cool, they have smoke and it's a whole big thing, but I don't think this happens at every single game, but there was someone or multiple people parachuting down from the sky. And that was something that really stood out to me. So again, can't say that I've seen it all. I've seen a lot of videos, obviously, but it's never the same as it would be in person. So I have to say Weber State, just because that's what I've experienced in person, and the smoke and everything. It's a good time. It's a good time.
All good answers for sure. Montana had the skydivers for a while, but then one of the guys broke his ankle, so they had to kind of get away from that for a little bit. Not to
oh my goodness,
yeah,
well,
right. Dangerous for sure. But I mean, I think that people that don't understand the art of horseback riding, I mean, to ride the horses through the middle of the fireworks and the band, and the 25,000 people going crazy. It's
couldn't be me. Couldn't be.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Well, those are all good and certainly fun ones as well.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
I want to go away from the script just for a minute, just because I know that Mariluz, you spent the morning doing some Big Sky Conference stuff with basketball coming up.
Yes.
So tell us about it. I know you were actually just wrapping up with a couple of my favorite people in the Big Sky, Trisha Binford and Darian White, two of the kindest and nicest gals ever. I mean, they might be 7 feet tall between the two of them, but other than that, they're the nicest gals in the world. What did you learn from those two, and what are you working on right now, just in terms of Big Sky hoops?
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, it is so wild to me that number one, we're as far as along as we are in football, because I mean, week 6, it's wild that we're here. And then with that, of course, comes basketball season approaching very quickly. So we're going to be having our Big Sky basketball tip off on ESPN Plus again this year. And I'm hosting it. Very exciting. So I've been working on interviewing coaches and players over the course of last week and then the next like 2 or 3 weeks here. And so I was just, as you said, speaking with Darian and Coach Binford, and the hunger that they have is just, it's amazing. And a word that kept coming up in my interview with them was unsatisfied. They had this incredible season last year. They advanced to the big dance. Darian is Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year, tournament MVP. We see the historical win of the men and women's team in Boise at the Big Sky tournament, and they're unsatisfied. So I'm I'd be a little scared of the Bobcats. I'm not going to lie, because I mean, it sounds like they're coming back with new intensity. Coach Binford was telling me that their defense at this point in the preseason, is, or I guess not preseason, off season, as compared to last year at this time, it's on a new level. So I really enjoyed my conversation with them. And then I have to say also, I spoke with Sacramento State women's basketball this morning as well. And Mark Campbell, my name is Mariluz Cook, last name, MC. Anyway, we have the same nickname, MC, which was really cool. So we bonded over that this morning. But it's been a lot of fun getting these interviews done. I'm about a third of a way through them, and we'll keep powering through. But I can't believe basketball season's almost here. Super
fun. And it's crazy to think, too, that one thing I love about the women's league is there's certainly an impact of transfers, but it's not nearly as much as on the men's side. The men's side, this early time of year, it's like relearning every single program, because half the guys are new. You never know when a guy is going to leave and go somewhere else. But it's been so cool to watch Darian White, but also Beyonce B at Idaho. I mean, I think they are two of the great players that I've covered in the Big Sky Conference, and sort of been right alongside each other, battling for freshman of the year, then battling for first team all conference, and now probably the two favorites for Big Sky Conference MVP. So it should be a really fun season. Any thoughts on hoops, Alex, before we get out of here?
Well, as we're talking about this, my big question, I wish we could have Krista Redpath here on the show with us. Because
great idea. Let's loop her in during basketball season.
Okay.
Her in for hoops, because she's incredible, as you both know, and I want to ask her what is the number one sleeper team that she thinks is just come out of the woodworks. I agree with you, Mariluz. I feel confident in the Bobcats, but I want to know, and obviously she's a Lady Grizzer, so I'm curious. I would love to hear what she thinks. Who's going to be slept on?
For sure.
Who do you think?
I'm so interested in Sac State, because it's hard to say they're a sleeper, because they were definitely in the mix last year, and they were almost got a bye, and then they basically lost to Montana State late to then have Montana State get that 2 seed, and then Sac State ended up getting the 6. But I think Isabel Nadabo could be one of the dominant physical presences in the conference, period. You have to think that Lori Payne will have her squad ready to go. I know that NAU hasn't necessarily been, behind the scenes. I mean, they've been very good the last couple of years, but you have to think that she'll do a really good job there too. And it's impossible to say the Lady Grizz are ever a sleeper because of their pride and tradition and all the stuff they've accomplished. But I'm so fascinated to see how they mesh, because you have a young lady who's been there forever in Carmen G. Feller, who's one of the best players in the conference. But you also have Sammy Fatkin getting a super senior year and getting one last ride with the Lady Grizz. And they didn't know if she was going to come back or not, but she is coming back. And then you add Gina Markson, who's one of the best players in the league at Idaho, but has taken a year off. So I think that's a really intriguing storyline as well. On the men's side, I think there's a lot of great storylines, but also so much roster turnover as well. And so maybe we'll talk more hoops next week. I got to get out of here because I got to go spin, but love seeing
That
you,
spin
Dallas.
class.
That's right. Can't be late. The teacher today is she is very, very stern about being on time. So gotta
Okay.
go. But
do it.
thank you so
Do it.
much. 2 and a full, SkylineSportsMT.com. Great seeing you, ladies, and we'll talk to you soon. But thanks for being here.
Thanks, Colter.
In just a few minutes, small business owners can now sign up for Blackfoot Communication Services. Whether it's dependable voice options or internet services, sign up simply by visiting blackfootsmallbusiness.com. Click on the services you wish, select an installation time and date, and you're done. Small business services at the touch of your fingers. Connect to more with Blackfoot Communications and blackfootsmallbusiness.com.